fishing. People, when you're in the mood, let's go fishing. Well, it's just me and you. Head on down to the fishing hole. Grab your hat, get your pole. Let's go fishing when you're in the mood.
Canadian Sport Fishing is brought to you by Rapala, premium fishing gear crafted from experience. Yamaha, conquer outdoors. Bait Cloud, bring the fish to you. Dickies, quality workwear since 1922.
I've always enjoyed fishing moving water. As a youngster, probably my first experiences was fishing small streams for brown trout and brook trout. And then as I got older, for steelhead. There's something about moving water, whether you're fishing from shore or from a boat. And this week, we have the privilege of going down to the Detroit River. Kind of interesting water because the Detroit River connects Lake Huron to Lake Erie. And you can literally have any of those fish in the river. The only challenge is that the Detroit River is quite large. There's only a couple of access points. And to find whatever fish are in at a certain times of the year can be a little bit challenging. Pat, this is kind of neat. This is perfect for kids fishing.
Perfect. Look at me.
This is where we can be like kids.
Wow.
Okay, kids, snap and try to work it up and then drop it back down because these silver bass are suspended at all different depths. I'm going to release mine. I'm going to get the net for yours because it looks like a monster. You know, these silver bass or white bass, when they come into the Detroit River, are excellent, especially for kids, you know, that don't fish that much. Now, Kaelynn has caught a lot of fish.
That's a nice one.
The nice thing about these white bass, number one, they're very plentiful this time of the year. Number two, they're very good eating. And three, they have an all-year open season, so you can catch them all the time. And you can see we're just fishing very simply with a jig head and a hook. So there's less chance, especially when you're with young people fishing in a boat, of having treble hooks and somebody having an incident where you actually get caught with a hook. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
I think I know how to use it. You gonna say hi, Dad, or anything?
Hi, Dad.
I got you to smile. That's awesome. Okay, you know what? Now we're going to release it. I'm going to put it in this net, and I'm going to let you release it. That's it, inside out. There he goes. Good job. Okay, high five. Okay, try to get another one, okay? What we're doing this week is actually taking a couple of young people out, Kaelynn and Dan. These are two fisher persons that are young. They've had a little bit of experience fishing, but they've never fished the Detroit River. So I have the pleasure of showing them how you rig some of the heavier jig heads and how you bottom bounce in 30 to 40 feet of water using an electric trolling motor, and the challenge of keeping your line vertically so that you don't get caught on the bottom, but keep your jig very close. Dan's gonna get one on right now. I have this feeling.
Oh, he's got his own.
Okay, Dan, walk around to the back of the boat so that you're on this side. Dan, is this excitement or what?
I got one too.
Wow, double header. Okay, now let me get this one in. One in first. Over here, bring it right to the net, and we're gonna have the second one in. There. Smile, do you wanna say hi to your mom? Look.
Hi.
This is really fun, isn't it?
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, even with the wind. Okay, let's get him in the net. And I'm gonna let you do the honors. Here, you know what to do. Dan, the man. Ready? Here, you release him, Dan. Here, I'll hold your rod. Good job, they're gone. Yeah. Okay, there you go. Okay, see if we can get another double header. Normally, walleye is the #1 fish that people catch in the Detroit River. And they catch them as early as March and as late as November, December, when things start to get freezing. Now, there are other species of fish that move in as well. And during the summertime, there are a lot of bass, and they have very large bass tournaments, but there's also a lot of panfish. The fish that we're going after this week is the white bass. A lot of people call it a silver bass because it is very silver in color and has nice black stripes. These fish average about 8 to 16 inches in size. A really big white bass can be up to 4 or 5 pounds. These fish move in from Lake Erie into the Detroit River by the millions. And they come in about the end of May, and they stay in till about the middle to end of June. And they come in for one reason, and that's to feed very heavily. The Detroit River has a lot of bait fish in it, and those white bass that move in feed aggressively wherever there's current breaks.
Closed captioning of this program is brought to you by MD Marine Insurance. Boat insurance made easy.
The other thing you'll notice when you're on the river and the white bass are in, there are hundreds of fishermen along the shore. And you know they're fishing for white bass because you can see the coolers that they have beside them. In most cases, there's no limit on white bass, so people can keep a lot. They're very good eating, they're very easy to catch, and all they do is usually use bait or some plastic grubs to catch them. Another one.
Yeah.
Look how clear the water is. That's gorgeous. Okay, let's see if you can, I'm gonna actually net it again because it's a lot safer, especially with the one hook. Look at that, beautiful. Okay, ready to hold him again?
Yeah.
If he's hooked okay, which he is, you can just hold him right by the hook. This is a really good tip if you're fishing with kids, to use single hooks like we are on these jigs. I'm just gonna let the line out a little bit, there. So if you hold the jig, just like that, just watch the hook. So she's actually, her hand's very protected. Even though these white bass don't have a lot of teeth, it's a really good way to take a photo and stuff. So I'm gonna go like this, take the hook out for you. You don't mind, do you?
No.
And then I'm gonna let you release it with the net, because I know you're a really good releaser.
Okay.
He has a lot of energy because we haven't held on to him too long. This is like a game. How are you gonna get him to swim out of the net? That's it, you did that perfect. Excellent. Okay. Let's see if we can get a bigger one. The other exciting thing about being down here in Windsor, this is the 13th annual ICHA Handicapable Fishing Derby. The Derby has been going on for 13 years, and it attracts hundreds of people that have handicapable people in their family. And they literally line up on the waterfront right in Windsor from the Ambassador Bridge going north. The nice thing about this event is that it's open to the public, there's no cost. Food, beverages, fishing gear, bait, a lot of volunteers are all provided. There's even entertainment. One of the thrills I get is to walk along the waterfront and actually help some of the younger anglers with fishing tips and hooking on their bait and casting and telling them how to feel the bottom when they get a bite and how to reel up. And one of the biggest satisfaction is seeing their faces, because many of these people don't get a chance to fish very often. So this event is one of the prime times. In the past, they've had other professional fishermen there. There's a boat exhibition where tournament fishermen line up their boats. There's a very large band, it's over 50 pieces, that provides entertainment. And then there's all kinds of games and things. And this year, one of the highlights is the Learn to Fish mobile unit that's there. This is where kids can fight fish on a fish fighting simulator, learn all about fishing and how to get started in fishing and what kind of fishing outfits to use and so on. This is an ideal location to come throughout the year to fish for a variety of species of fish, ranging from walleye, white bass, and even muskie when they move into the river in large numbers in the fall. Dan, you were so quiet. It's like we didn't even know you had a fish on. Oh, we got some big rollers from the river. See if you can work them a little bit to the left. That's it, perfect. Take your time. I like the way you're fighting them. See if you can bring them just this way. You're doing great. Most people reel in too much line, so you're actually keeping at least the length of the rod, the line out. That way you can actually bring the fish in a little closer. And he's almost ready. They're kind of neat, eh?
Yeah.
They fight good. I think they're really pretty. because they're nice and bright. There's so many of them in Lake Erie, like the Great Lakes. Look at, isn't that a beautiful fish? That's about a 14, 15 inch white bass. People call them silver bass because they're really shiny, but they're really called a white bass. So they have little mouths. They're like piranhas. I mean, you know the way they've been hitting, right?
Yep.
Whack, whack, whack. And using a jig with a plastic grub like that is all you need. So we don't need to use bait and so on. So, and they're suspended from like 5 feet below the surface right down to the bottom. So you can jig and get them anywhere. Okay, I'm gonna put them back in the net and you're gonna be releasing it again. So this is good training here. So there you go. Because the water's cold, it won't take long for them to revive. The one thing we have to do is make sure that minnow is straight on your jig. So if you just want to swing it over, you might want to open the bail. So we have a little bit loose line. See how the belly has moved around?
Yep.
We're going to actually unhook it and rehook it. And this guy has caught a few fish. So what we want to do, the dark part is the back. So we want to make sure that it's coming out the back like that. And we're going to push it up so it's kind of straight on there. Just like that. And if there's a little bit of a, I'm going to actually try to pinch that off because that's from worn from getting other fish. So I try to do it so that it's pretty straight, like this down, because if it's not straight, it'll kind of twist when you pull it. It won't look like a real fish. So we want it just to look like a real fish. Here, I'll show you. I'll just drop it right there. Okay, so see how it's nice and straight? So it's dropping fast because we've got that 5-ounce jig head. Because here in the river, there's a lot of current, and we're fishing down as far as 40 feet. I'm gonna let you drop that down, because I got a feeling it won't take long for you to get a fish on. Yeah, it's going. It just got wrapped along the tip. When I'm fishing large, deep rivers, there are 2 important elements that I keep in mind. One is where the structure break is before the main river channel, and the other one is the current breaks. Even in 20 to 40 feet of water, those 2 elements are very crucial. The only way I can know where the structure break is by looking at my sonar. And I use 2 Raymarine units, one main one that shows me where my hydrographic location is on the river so I can see where the break lines are. And then on half of the screen, I've got the actual fish finder mode where I can see the sonar, the reading, how deep it is and whether there's fish there. Then I also have a sonar that's with my electric trolling motor at the front of the boat. I use that in conjunction with what I visually see on the surface, which is how the currents go along the surface. Now, in the case of the Detroit River, you can be out 20 feet from shore and it'll be almost 30 feet deep. So sometimes it's deeper closer to shore, sometimes shallower. So it's very important to use the sonars as you're working with it. As far as keeping the presentation close to the bottom, you have to use a heavy jig head, something in the 5/8 ounce and even 1 ounce range. We normally tip them with a plastic grub. We find we don't need to use live bait. And we try to use a low diameter line, like a suffix braided line, and to keep that line as vertical as possible in the water. You know, I love to fish, but I get more satisfaction from seeing youth and kids catching fish, especially learning how to fish. Now, I've got 2 pretty good fishermen here, so I don't have to worry about doing instruction, but I put my rod down because it's just too hectic. If I fish, I'm going to be concentrating on what I'm doing. So I'm working the electric, especially here in the Detroit River, because I want them to catch fish. So they're fishing at the front of the boat with me, and they've got their personal flotation devices on because I want to make sure they're safe. Because if anything did happen, we can grab them and pull them back in the boat. And they're just jigging. They're actually doing exactly what I would be doing. They're keeping their lines vertical, being patient. I mean, fishing is a great way to teach kids patience, also coordination, because you gotta, you know, you're working with mechanical stuff, reels, reeling, casting, feeling a bite, setting the hook, fighting a fish. It actually takes a little bit of discipline. So this is great. Plus we're getting fresh air. What more do you want? In the case of the white bass, they can be close to the bottom with those structure breaks in 20 to 40 feet of water, but they also can be suspended anywhere in the water column. Even in 40 feet of water, sometimes I've caught them when I've just laid my rod down to go do something and the jig is only 2 feet below the surface. White bass will come along and smack that jig and take it. So they'll cruise at all different levels looking for bait fish. They can be down at 40 feet in a few seconds, be up about 5 feet from the surface. They hit very erratically, and most people know the way they hit because it's a very jarring feeling with your fishing rod. Their heads go left and right, left and right. They thrash a lot. Unlike a walleye that usually dogs it when you hook the fish. You can see both the kids are using spinning outfits, which are really the standard, even though we're not casting. Oh, did you have a hit? I thought I saw something.
I think so.
Okay, bring them up from that deep water. So they're easy to use. Good job. Okay, see if you can swing them in. So they're very simple to use. And because we're using single hooks, it's very safe. Now, you've caught them much bigger than this. Okay, so I'm gonna get the net again. You ready to hold them?
Yep.
For a minute? I'll try to get my big thumb out of there. So you have no problem holding fish?
No.
Good for you. Okay, here's the net. So I'm using the net because I want to teach the kids that you have to revive the fish. You can put your rod down and I'm going to let you hold the net again. Fish are like us in air. We need the air to breathe. They need the water to breathe. That's where they get their oxygen. So we were letting them revive. I'm going to give you the net. When you see the fish has got energy, like now, he like says, let me go. You can lower the net down, let him swim out. So maybe a little bit away from the boat. Yeah, just out there. And then you can turn it upside down and he'll, sometimes they get caught in the mesh, yeah, because we've got a current. So if you go out further and kind of go backwards. So if you go put him there, and then we're gonna go backwards like this. See, just like that. Okay. Come on, come on. Here, look it, you did it.
Yeah.
Perfect. It was kind of exciting to be able to fish with Anne, who's literally the coordinator for the Learn to Fish campaign in Ontario. She's the one that travels to the provincial parks, and she's involved with picking the people, the students, and some of the young people that are actually helping kids to catch fish. You know, I have grandkids of my own, and growing up, I had many mentors that took me fishing. And I feel that it's really important for me to support programs that encourages government and also parents and grandparents to take kids fishing, even big brothers, to take little brothers fishing. And this event in Windsor, Ontario, the ICHA Handicapable Fishing Derby, is a good example of that because there are a lot of families that take friends that are handicapable and they bring them out, and a lot of them are very young, right down to about 5, 6 years of age. So it's something that we look forward to every year. That was a really nice hit. So I love when you're casting crankbaits, the fish really nailed them. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna let this guy fight out a little bit, and I'm gonna grab the net. Okay, and I'm gonna let you net the fish.
Okay.
If you wanna extend, pull the pole back so the net goes forward.
Okay.
Yep, perfect. And it slides
Click
right
it
into
right
that.
in there?
You got it,
Got
there.
her.
And I'm gonna bring it closer. He's
Okay.
only hooked by one hook because he was jumping. So it'll be very interesting if we get it in the net before it falls off and scoop it up. Right
Got
up.
him.
Good job. Okay, have you held a smallmouth before?
I haven't.
Oh boy, is this gonna be a treat.
Look at him.
What I'm gonna do, I'll show you the proper way to hold these guys. So look, see he hit that natural colored crankbait?
Oh, yeah. Look at that.
You got to hold it. You didn't catch the
Oh,
first
yeah.
one, but that's okay. So now we're gonna put it back in the net, and you're gonna put the net over the side, and see, let the fish get his strength back. And when you think he's ready, you're gonna pull the net back a little bit and just let him swim out.
Okay.
So already you can kind of pull the, see, he doesn't know that that's netting, he just feels the fresh water.
That's right.
Yeah, so you have to kind of work it.
Here you go, fish.
That's it,
you
inside
go,
out.
buddy.
You can do it. You can do it.
You free,
He's
buddy?
almost free. Yep.
There you go.
Perfect
Bye-bye.
release. excuse me, do you have a fish on, Dan?
Yep.
All right. I better get the net. Here I am. I'm like so caught up in the moment watching you kids fish. And hopefully the boat won't swing around. Nice size white bass again. If you bring them a little bit up. So that's perfect length of line out. Get them in here. Okay, I don't want to get my hands fishy. I'm going to let you do this. Watch the hook. Does your dad like to fish?
Yeah.
Would he like this, getting one fish after the other?
Yeah.
Oh, good. I like the way you took the hook out. You say, hey, Dad, look at. Getting one after the other. Good job. Okay. And guess what? Here, you got to release him. Be the man. Dan the man. See if you can get him to swim out of the net. Sometimes they try, they don't know the net's there, right? So oh, perfect. While many anglers come to the Detroit River to catch very specific fish, game fish like walleye, muskie, and smallmouth bass, there are thousands that come here for the white bass that have no season. You can fish for them all year and no limit. And I've talked to people that have come from as far as 7 and 8 hours from Windsor and Detroit. They bring their coolers, they bring their families, and they usually make it a 2 or 3 day event. And they fish from shore. There are many access points. The reason they do that, the fish are easy to catch. And white bass just have one vertebrae and a very small rib cage. So they actually have a lot of meat on them, and their meat is very firm and white. They almost taste like a saltwater fish, like a snapper. They're also very easy to clean. Some people prefer to scale them, others to fillet them. But it's so nice to see hundreds of people enjoy this great fishery just fishing from shore. All right, Kaelynn. You know what? I'm going to get the net already. There. Okay. Look at you. You're a pro. Nice one again. Look at that. Perfect. There he goes. Good release.
Canadian Sport Fishing is brought to you by Rapala, premium fishing gear crafted from experience. Yamaha, conquer outdoors. Bait Cloud, bring the fish to you. Dickies, quality workwear since 1922.
Okay, I'm going to let you unhook it. Show everybody how it's done without getting hurt, okay? It's kind of important. It's nice that these don't have teeth. Have you ever fished for fish that have teeth? And here's the net.
Yes, I think I've fished for pike.
Yeah, and those you got to be careful. You couldn't hold them the way you're holding that
No.
fish. No. So you got to know what fish you're sticking your thumb in.
I'm good to put it in?
Yep, you're good to put it in and good to release it. I'm going to control the boat because we got the wind.